Hello and welcome in this second lesson. In this lesson, we're gonna learn data types. So what are data types? Let's first just learn more about the data itself. So in the first lesson, we just learned variables. Let's create a variable. For example, let's call it name. And let's assign data to this variable, Ali. So here we have a variable with a data, and the data is Ali. And this data has a type. It's a string, and we just refer to it as str, which is referring to string. But we don't have just strings. We have a lot of data, and those are the most common ones. Let's test all of them. So what we can do is just um, print the type of the variable to see the type. So let's say that we want to see what is the type of the variable name. What we can do is just print and type, and inside of it you put the name. Let's try to run it. cmd and python or py and the name of the file. As you see here, just printing str, class str, which is referring to string. So the type of this data is string. Let's just see the other types. We have int, I mean, which means integer. So let's just put age and put 10 here. And let's just print this age, all right? And 10 is a number and it's just an integer. If we just go back, clear the console, and run the code, it's gonna just say that this is an int, which is integer. Great. What if I just put this 10 inside quotes? Now it's not an integer anymore, it's a string. If we just run it again, it's str and not int. Because we have the quote, we need to remove the quotes. Because with the quotes, you can't make calculations. If we just add 10 to 1, let's see what's gonna happen. Let's print the age. And let's comment this out, clear the console, run the code. As you see, can only concatenate str, not integer to str. So we can't do that. But if it's an integer and adding another integer to that integer, it's gonna just work out. See, it's 11. Great. So let's go to the next one, float. All right. So the float is just a number with a comma. And the comma in programming, you just write a dot instead of comma. So if we just run the code, it's gonna say it's a float. The same thing, if you put it inside quotes, it's gonna just say that it's an str. Now let's move to the list. Let's say that we have students, and let's say that we have a lot of students, all right? Students. So a list can have a lot of data inside of it. For example, Ellie, Ben, Nordin, and so many more. So let's just write those three and let's print it out. This is a list. And if we just print the type, it's gonna just say it's a list. So the way to use a list is just you can use it just in a for loop, or you can just use it one by one. Let me explain. If we just print students, it's gonna give us the whole list. Let me clear console. You see the whole list. But if I create brackets and inside the brackets I just type 0, it's gonna give me the first item in the list. Ellie. So this is the item number 0, number 1, number 2, and so on. So if I just put 1, it's going to give me the second item. So the ordering in Python starts from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, and so on. If I just print it, it's going to just give me now ban. If I print 3, which doesn't exist because this is the 0, and this is the 1, and this is the 2, and there is no 3, it's gonna just put an error. List index out of range because there is no 3. Cool. This is the way to use list. And if you want to go through all of them, you can just use it as this inside a for loop. So for student without s, a single student, in students list, I want to print the student. So for each student in this list, just print the student. Sorry, without s. Just print the student. It's gonna just print this and then this and then this. If we just clear the console, run it, Ali, Ben, Nordin. We can even make if statements. If student equals Ali, you can say here, for example, the student, for example, is Ali, and it's gonna just use it one time. The student is Ali, just when it finds the student is Ali, and that's how it works. We can even just do it like that. The student is Ali, so only if it's Ali, it's gonna print this, and it's gonna just do it for Ali. If we just change it to Ben, it's gonna go for Ben. Great. So this is how to use a list in Python. Now let's move on to another thing. Boolean. So what is a Boolean? Well, Boolean is a type of data which includes only true and false. Let me explain. Let's put a variable called status. Let's uncomment this, put the status here, and let's put true. So this is a variable with true data, and this type is a Boolean. If I just run the code, it's gonna say it's a Boolean. Great. How to use it? So we use a Boolean inside of if statement. That's the common one. Like there is a lot of use cases, but the common one is an if statement. So if status, which means if it's true. So if this condition is true, and that means you can go and run the code inside of it. Print status is true. If it's not true, it's not gonna work. And let me comment this out. Clear the console, run the code. Status is true. But if I just put it false, it's not gonna print anything because the condition is not gonna work. You see, the condition is not gonna work. It's just like saying if status equals true, but it's cool to write it just like that. All right, let's move on to dictionary. Let's uncomment this. And for the dictionary, I can just make the same thing for students. But dictionary is inside. It's not inside brackets, actually. So this is going to be a dictionary. So name, Ellie. Family, or just age, 10. So this is a dictionary. If I just go and print it, it's a dictionary. And if I just print the dictionary itself, run the code, it's gonna just give us dictionary. If we do name, sorry, with a capital N, and run it, it's gonna give us Ellie. So inside the dictionary, we have name. So we are just calling it to get the value of the name. We can do the same thing for age, and it's gonna just give us the age. And that's all of it. So those are the common data types in Python. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next lesson.